Mr. Chokhani and Mr. Seth have already said they are the two best stocks to buy. तो सेशन तो खत्म. क्या पूछे अब इसके ऊपर?
डेफिनेटली जो सेशन के बारे में तो मालूम नहीं, पर वो जो बोले थे वो ठीक था. हम वो हैं जो 2 और 2 5 बना दें.
If I look at Tata Group market cap, pecking order, TCS, Tata Steel, then there is Tata Motors. अब आप ट्रेंड के पीछे हो और आप लगता है इनको बीट करने वाले हो. तो 2 और 2 5 में कौन किसको बीट करेगा?
This is actually what my boss, chairman of Tata Sons, does, right?
हमें अंदर की खबर है,
every
इसलिए
company
सवाल
exit
पूछा
on
था.
to
हमें अंदर की खबर है, इसलिए सवाल पूछा था.
So, effectively for him, I think from a group perspective, 2 important things. A is for every company in your domain, you've got to be in the top pecking order. And then within companies also, he's got a very clear perspective of who's got it right and why you should accelerate faster right now.
For me, collaboration is inside, competition is outside.
Wonderful. That's the spirit of the Tata Group. Okay, so let's start with calling out 2 or 3 large trends which you see in your sector and 2 or 3 large trends which are small right now and could become big. For example, who would have thought tourism could be a big trend 5 years ago? Who would have thought food as a category could be a big trend 5 years ago? So let's start with calling out big trends. The theme is 2030. So big trends in your sector for next 5 years.
See, one of the biggest trends is that because the nation becomes richer and you move from whatever number 13 to number 5 economy and poised to become number 3, obviously your per capita income will increase, which means the spend in leisure, tourism, will obviously also increase. Also restaurants, dining out, etc. The second trend is the investment of the government in the infrastructure, the 6-lane highways, the renaissance of the train stations, the doubling of the airports, will bring new opportunities for the sector in terms of getting new dots on the map. So it has to come. You cannot have an airport, not have flight kitchen, you cannot have hotels out there, so that part is going to follow. And last not least, it's experience at different price points. Basically, when you become the 5th largest and are going to be the 3rd largest, does not matter at which price point you are, people want to have the feel-good factor. They want to have the feeling of premiumization. And I think that's broadly the 3 big things that I see for us. But there is a 4th one, and that is more related to the valuations. There has been a myth, I think, globally, that scale and number of rooms translates into value creation. And I would rather go with what Mr. Chokhani said just now. People need to understand, especially hotels, is an anti-cyclical investment. You should buy in when the market is reasonable, if not low, and not at the top of the cycle, because the only thing that will happen is it will go down. And if you do some smart investments, they're far more lucrative than a fee-based 5, 6, 7, 8 hotels portfolio. Now, in an ideal world, what we have been doing, you're doing both. You're doing investments which give you the operating leverage, and you're doing also the fee-based, which is giving you the margin expansion. So I think this is one big myth, that scale necessarily means that value is being created. Maybe that journey will be over in the next 18, 24 months.
What are the trends you would like to call out?
So Nikunj, I would say 3 broad things, right? A, as GDP grows and per capita GDP grows, I think you will see the entire consumption pattern changing, and I'll come to that. Number two, the consumption pattern changing and people where they buy that consumption. I think that is going to change. And number three, what kind of things they are going to buy is going to change. Now, if I elaborate, right? India is what, $2,800 per capita GDP right now. As income grows, right, and per capita GDP grows, disposable income starts to grow. I would say roughly half of that will go to consume more, but half of that will go to consume different things. And those different things, I think you'll see two big pieces coming out. A is discretionary will take off. I think the previous panel alluded to that also. People will not consume more, but first buy the new TV, first buy a two-wheeler, real estate. I think that you will start seeing accelerating before anything else. That's number one. Number two, movement into services, right? Education, health, all those kind of things will start to happen. And then the whole other consumption basket starts to lift. So that's piece number one. Piece number two is where they buy. I think that you're going to see a dramatic shift. India is the land of the kiranas, right? 8, 9, 10 million kiranas, you take anyone's number. Modern trade is still under index. So modern trade and e-commerce will grow. Now, modern trade, obviously, for most FMCG companies, depending on where you are, between 8 to 12% of sales. I think that will keep inching up. But e-commerce, I think, will grow. And I'll tell you the reason why. I mean, a lot of people would say e-commerce may not grow as fast for FMCG. If you look at global numbers, right? India spends about 5 to 6% of retail spends online. Brazil is 15. US is 25. China is 35. 60% of Indians who are online have never transacted on e-commerce online. In the US and China, the number is 20. Normally, there are four big factors for e-commerce to take off. A, you need physical reach. If I remember the numbers right, distribution costs have been coming down, logistics. Number two, you need digital reach. India's cost per gigabyte is already one of the lowest. Number three, you need financial ecosystems. I think that UPI, fintech is there. The fourth most important factor has yet to kick in. So this story is just about starting off. E-commerce normally tips at $4,000 per capita. When we come there, I think that is when you'll start seeing acceleration on e-commerce. So that's the second piece. The last piece is, Indians are known to be price seekers. I think that whole game is going to change. The whole premiumization story is going to happen. And Indians are going to be value seeking. And I'll say why. My generation, and with all due respect to the panel before me, I think we grew up in an India which was perpetually in recession. You are always scared to spend. Today's generation, which is coming of age, is the generation of liberalization. They have not seen those days, right? When you don't use the same set of clothes all through the school year, don't buy a second one, the same pair of shoes and then put a sole underneath, right? Today's generation is confident, going out, spending on credit, etc., etc. They are very confident to spend. They will not straight away go to premium, but they will look for value. I think this thing of premiumization and price value equation is going to change dramatically.